Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Bike Walk Commission special meeting for, I guess it's not really for the month of January. It's the 29th of January, and we're meeting to discuss the strategic plan for the year 2024 for the Bike Walk Commission. We left off in our last meeting, which was on January 3rd, so earlier this month. We had started drafting some SMART goals, some concrete, specific, measurable, realistic goals to represent our strategic plan. We sketched out several, and there were kind of two schools of thought. One was that we had enough and that we should nail it down. I thought that we should keep working because there were a few different existing projects, stuff that we're already working on that wasn't represented, and I wanted to make sure that was represented. So I have drafted some SMART goals for consideration. I'm going to share my screen with the doc that we were working out of. It's right here. I'm going to make it bigger too before you ask. Okay, so highlighted right here, this is where we got to last time. So just to go over it, we have some categories. We have safe routes to school. We have social media. We have bike valet. We have diversity and representation. We have staying aligned on strategic plan progress, which I maybe would call accountability. But I'm gonna leave these here. I'm gonna copy paste this down to this section because this will represent the notes from this meeting. So, make this a heading. So this is what I just pasted in that represents the stuff we did last meeting. Here are the ones that I would add, starting with the Fairfield County Greenway. This is something that I've mostly been working on. I gave an update in the most recent commission meeting, and it got covered by the Norwalk Hour. I don't know if everybody saw that, but the Norwalk Hour must have watched the recording of our meeting or read the notes and reported a bunch of the details from my report. And a lot of people reached out to me saying this is cool. And so anyway, I think that because it represents like a significant amount of work, and it would be a significant milestone even if we just applied to the grant, but more so if the grant was awarded, I think that should be reflected. So the way that I wrote out the SMART goal is to apply for a grant to conduct planning and design for a section of the East Coast Greenway or Fairfield County Greenway Trail. Now, the specific grant that I'm working toward right now is the Connecticut Recreational Trails Grant, but conceivably, if that one doesn't work out, we could apply for another one later in the year. I don't know what the schedules for all of them are, but I wrote it in a way to make it a little bit more generic so that we could, pivot to another grant. But I think that we do care about not just getting any grant at all, but specifically working toward this trail because of the synergy with other towns that are already working on this vision. I'm going to read all the ones that I've proposed here, and then we can discuss. So we did an events section. We discussed quite a bit about events, and it's something we've always done, and we never got to writing SMART goals for them. So one is table at 5 community events. This is stuff I think in past years we may not have done 5, but we've done more than one. We've done the Norwalk Night Out. We've done we've done Earth Day, and we've talked before about doing some of the bigger ones as well, the Oyster Festival, Pride, and the Nice Festival. So that right there is 5. So I think that 5 is a reasonable goal. And then the other one is the Open Street event, which we did last year and we want to do again. I picked 500 attendees as kind of a way to quantify our goal. We can mess with that number. We can change it if we want, but I figured that we should quantify it somehow so that we can measure it. And then the last one is bike share. This is something that, again, I've been working on. And this is something that I anticipate working on more later in the year after the event season and budget season that we're kind of in the middle of right now is over. But by the end of the year, I think a reasonable place to get to is that we have a first draft proposal that we've designed with a vendor that we can take to city officials, whether that's TMP or the mayor, or that we send it up the chain somehow, that we have something that we have sent up the chain. So that's what I've written. I think that those plus what we wrote last time gets us to a pretty good representative set of goals. But I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I think they all sound great to me, actually. I think the Greenway grant sounds like it's already getting some momentum. And so I think that's cool that it's already kind of doing its thing. And I agree with the events that having some SMART goals or a SMART plan for events that we want to participate in is pretty valuable. Um, so yeah, I think they all three of them sound good to me.
Thanks, Manny. Other thoughts?
I'm also behind definitely tabling at more events. I know we can definitely manage that. And with the Bike to Work Week event too that we did where we tabled all week long, that was another kind of interesting event that we engaged with the community and local community on. So,
Yeah.
little things like that or larger events like you suggested, the oyster shell or oyster festival and things like that. But I don't think they have to all be large events, but I can see like if we have a goal of 500 attendees, it does make sense to want to do more tabling at those larger
Well,
turnouts.
those are two different goals. The 500 attendees is specifically about an open street event.
Oh, host and I'm sorry, I mushed those together. Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree that there's events large and small that we could table at, and we don't necessarily have to do only large ones or only small ones.
okay.
Do people think that 5 is a good number? It's more than we've done in the past, but I think it's reasonable.
Yeah, I think five is good.
Yeah. The only one I'm a little, I guess, interested in seeing how it merges into SMART goals is the bike share piece.
Well,
But I guess if that's just starting with a first draft proposal and, who we work with that on, yeah. Can you maybe go into a little more detail about that? Or I know you and I, met with Jim and the mayor a while back, and he did seem open to it.
the mayor
Um,
requested it specifically. This was a project that started up in like 2017, back when I was first getting involved, and I think Nancy was the one driving it.
okay.
Um, and she got to this point, this first draft proposal. I think actually it was more of a second or third draft proposal. She like had a proposal that was workshopped with a vendor and had been circulated around the city, and I think it got some amount of approval. But then the vendor went out of business, and then we had COVID. And so when you and I met with the mayor, 8 months ago, he asked us to restart that work.
Okay. Yeah. Would it go hand in hand? Do you know that? And this may be off topic, but the scooter, the like scoot the block, those scooters that are going around, like in addition to bike share, would that involve scooters as well with that infrastructure, or is that something probably completely different?
It would probably be entirely separate from the existing scooter share. I guess we could specify a docked bike share. Um, I don't remember if the mayor specified that or not, but that's definitely my preference, and I think that that would have a better chance of being approved, or being met with approval from the city. Like the existing scooter share is dockless, meaning you can leave the scooter wherever you want, and there are dockless bike share systems as well. But a docked bike share has specific docks where you have to return your bike. They tend to be more organized. They tend to be better neighbors. But people don't complain. People complain about scooters getting left all over the place, and I think the same
Mm-hmm.
happens with dockless uh, bike shares as well. But a docked bike share tends to be more well received. It's a little bit more work too because you have to install the docks, but it's like kind of a higher investment, higher reward.
Okay, yeah. Christine, do you know, were you a part of the commission when this was being proposed for the shared bike or bike share vendor and
Yeah, I
proposal?
was. Hmm.
Was, was it something that like I guess I would have to just go back and read it, I guess, because I think Nancy did share it with us, but is it something that seems plausible? Or just having a proposal is what you're suggesting, Tanner, for a SMART goal for
Yes, the SMART goal
2024?
Is to get to a proposal and then share the proposal with city officials outside the commission. It doesn't mean that the proposal is approved. It doesn't mean that we've even like sent out an RFP for a vendor. But the way that this worked in the past, and I think the way that, based on conversations I've had with like Jess Vonashek, I talked to her about this. The way to go about it is to work with a vendor, a vendor that seems like a reasonable solution on a proposal, and then you take that proposal and turn it into an RFP, and then send the RFP out and get that vendor as well as other vendors to bid on it. But vendors are the experts here. They're the ones that are in this business, and so they'll have a lot of context they can bring. And I've already met with a couple of vendors. I've met with the one out of Portland, Maine, Tandem Mobility. I think I reported on that in a commission meeting a few months ago. And I also met with a representative from Lyft that runs City Bike. So the goal here for 2024, as I've written it here, would be to continue the conversation with one of those vendors or another one, and develop the conversation into a first draft proposal, and then share that proposal with like TMP and the mayor.
Okay, yeah.
Just to quickly give a little bit of feedback from the original proposal, it was a slow rollout, right? I think the first one would have been at the train station we talked about, like just go really slow on it. And also I know New Haven is a great model. The city there, they've had theirs for years.
Well, they got rid of it during COVID, unfortunately.
Oh, I got rid of it.
Yeah, they actually had two. They had one run by Yale, or one that was administered by Yale, and one was administered by the city, and they both went belly up during the pandemic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's our neighboring town that has one? The closest place, do you know?
I think the closest place is New York City.
Oh, okay. Westchester has nothing, like New Rochelle, nothing there?
Not that I know of, although I could be wrong. I think the one that I've been using as an inspiration that I think would be kind of comparable is Portland, Maine. They're a similar sized city. They have 60,000 people. They're a coastal town. They have some amount of tourism. They have more tourism than we do, but we have some amount of tourism. They have a dense downtown. They have a train station. And Tandem Mobility, the smaller company that I met with, they administer the bike share in Portland, and it's very successful. But anyway, that level of detail is not something we have to decide on in this meeting. In this meeting, we just need to decide on, are we going to make that work something that we hold ourselves accountable to?
I mean, I think it's a really tall order.
The goal that I've written here?
Well, so no, not the proposal, no. And I agree with that. If the mayor said it, then it should be on here as a proposal.
Okay, I agree. I also agree that like actually getting to the point where we have a bike share and it's installed and it's running and people are using it, that is a lot of work, and that's kind of a tall order. But if we're going to get there, we have to go through, we got to go step by step. And I think this step is realistic.
Yeah, I agree, Tanner. I think what you wrote here is actually a good SMART goal to set. Hopefully we can definitely achieve.
Thanks. Welcome, Julia, by the way.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, other feedback on the SMART goals that I have drafted here, or potentially on goals that we have left out that you think should be added? Like, is this set representative? Does this represent the things that we want to prioritize, that we want to hold ourselves accountable to in 2024?
Would we put on here? Yeah, it looks great to me. Would we add about the pursuing a bike-friendly award here?
I think again, we would need to wait until we
Yeah.
we
Okay.
know until it's been publicly announced what
Okay.
the award for this year is.
All right.
Um,
I
but
just
I mean, even independent of that, we could add a goal to like improve upon whatever we get this year.
yeah, that's what I
Yeah, that sounds
mean.
great.
I like
Okay.
on open in open application because we strive for the highest, right? We get this, and keep going. So we're on the podium.
I guess I have two quick things. Just kind of on that note, Christine, I know you're a certified, I'm so sorry. Can you remind me of what
A
the certificate
league certified instructor.
league certified instructor? So with that, you're able to teach courses. Would we want another person on our team, or not even on our team, but someone in the community to have that? I know we spoke kind of about that a little while back, but getting like another league certified instructor, or at least, you know, hosting some sort of course. I know we're interested in collaborating with the hospital and the Board of Education and doing some sort of like safety classes. And I know you're interested in running one yourself. We kind of talked and touched on that. Is that something you can want to do still, or could be a good goal for 2024?
Yeah, I could run a class and then people could get, that under their belt and then they could go on to the LCI, which is a weekend commitment. And it's not given often, it's once a year. And it's usually in New Haven or New York City. So there's the first class and then there's the weekend. So you can't do the weekend until you have the first class. And the first class is just a few hours. So we should be, you're right, Emily, we should, yeah. Have LCI instructors. I mean, it will certainly help with this award. I can tell you that.
That's what I'm thinking too. Okay, I like that idea to have that on our SMART goals.
So specifically, are you proposing that we add as a SMART goal to get one additional league certified cycling instructor?
Sure. And that's a great education goal, I'd say.
So increase from 1 to 2, 1 being Christine. Yeah, I'm comfortable adding that. I know that's something we've talked about a lot, and I do agree it would help us improve upon this award. It's almost a means unto an end, but it's not a means only unto this end. It's also a means unto the end of education. I mean, a lot of these things, frankly, will help us to improve upon whatever award we get.
And then my one other thing, just it's kind of in the realm of social media, but it's more like marketing. So these videos that we're doing and the social posts we're making, I'd like to like have the goal of having like a newsletter that goes out every quarter. So I know we have an email list and a growing email list to engage that list with a quarterly email just about, like updates and these goals and anything else happening that we're getting into.
Yeah, that seems like a good goal. It's something we've done before, and posting or sending out one newsletter every quarter is a very manageable goal. If we were saying every week, I would say maybe that's a lot of work to commit to, but certainly once a quarter, we can do that.
I know we were aiming, or, I started doing it monthly, but it kind of dropped off. So I feel like, setting it to quarter, and then if it could be every month, that would be even better.
So I think at this point we have lots of goals. Given that a lot of these things are already in progress and that we have input from lots of different people, it's not like one person is taking on all of this. I think that it's not too much, but it certainly feels like a lot. I'm wondering if now is a good time to pivot toward trying to maybe categorize these so that we can see how they relate to each other. They're categorized a little bit, but not not very granularly, or rather, we have a ton of different categories. I'm thinking we should categorize them and or assign them to people. Although actually, we should probably go over the ones that we wrote last time, because some of them I think still need some improvement. So Safe Routes to School. We have become acquainted with Safe Routes to School program. That's a good goal, but it's not a SMART goal. You know, it needs to be measurable. Has anybody done anything like this? Has anybody put some time into becoming acquainted with the program since we met last?
There's a contact that's been to Norwalk recently. It was mentioned in one of those emails from that other woman who runs the medical safety hospital program upstate. I can't think who this. I'm not prepared. But anyway, I would be willing to commit to that.
To commit to what?
Like being a liaison. I can't write a SMART goal right now here. But I don't know. Like just I mean, they are involved in the city of Norwalk, right? We have money. They have been down here recently. I have an email saying that they met with somebody in the city.
I mean, I think they were the ones who led the walk audit that Manny and I attended at Fox Run Elementary. Greg, can you confirm that?
I can't speak to which article, Christine, you were talking about, but I mean, but the Safe Routes to School representatives who run the DOT program, yeah, they were here as part of that walk audit.
Yeah,
that's
so
what I mean. Yeah,
it's still not clear to me exactly how the Bike Walk Commission should be more involved. I'm not saying that we shouldn't, but I don't know how. I don't know enough about the program to understand how. I think that this goal that we wrote down last time is a good one, and I know that Greg actually has made progress on it. Greg, we're going to have this speaker at our February meeting next week, right?
Correct. Yes, she will. She is the Safe Routes School coordinator from CTDOT, and she'll be in attendance on next Monday.
Then here's what I propose. I propose that we kind of table this. We table the item of trying to turn this into a SMART goal until next week when this woman comes and speaks, and then we'll be more up to speed on how the program works and what the most productive way that we can engage with it is. And then at that point, because also in our meeting next week is when we're going to be adopting this officially, and at that point also we should know about the Bike Friendly Communities Award, so we can make that goal more specific. But at the same time, I think we could also make this goal more specific, because at that point we'll know a lot more about this program. Does that sound good, everybody?
Sounds good.
Okay, cool.
Oh, sorry. Can I just pipe in quickly? It's Kristen Levesky is the Safe Routes to School coordinator at DOT.
Is that who's speaking next week?
That's who's speaking next week.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, we're okay.
Great. So Christine, my proposal is that we wait until she comes and speaks at our meeting.
Yeah, I got you. I'm good.
Okay.
We're all good.
I'm gonna, yeah. I think then we can almost cross this one off, the one about getting the speaker to our meeting, because by the time we adopt these goals, we will have already accomplished that one. Well, I guess we could leave it in to show that we're making progress. I'll leave it in.
Well, what if we changed maybe some of the wording to like develop a partnership? I mean, I know we don't know a lot about this program, but I don't know. Maybe it is just gonna have the first goal be have the speaker come talk, and then we can figure it out.
Yeah, I think we'll understand much better what we should work toward once we talk to her. Okay, social media. Post educational material at a certain frequency. Now is a great time to pick a frequency. Emily and Julia, do you have any suggestions for a frequency that you want to be held accountable to?
I know Julia and I connected this week, but Julia, I feel like you're very good about, I was just going to quickly add that, the Norwalk Health Department has really good material and like sessions going on throughout the year. So, I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know
we
if
do.
it's like generating more of that for bike walk stuff or if it's resharing. Like, I mean, I'm definitely happy to reshare anything the health department comes out with that's, relevant to biking and walking and health in Norwalk, but then, generating our own educational material. Can the frequency include both of those things, like
I
resharing
think,
and
yeah,
organic?
Emily, I think it could be a combination of them. I think we can create some materials and also like at the health department personally, we consider each one sharing on social media. So whether that's sharing from a reputable source, so if that's you guys sharing our stuff that we post from the health department, or we can share things from other sources. So I think maybe once a week would be a great goal. I don't know if you don't think that's feasible, but I think weekly to share at least something or create one post would be, or a combination would be good.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
And also keep the page active and build more followers.
So did I hear once a
Definitely.
week?
Once a week, yeah.
Okay, that seems aspirational to me. Like that's going to be a non-trivial amount of work. Are you sure you want to be held accountable to that, Emily?
Yeah, I mean, if it is like a mix of either generating our own material or just resharing content from other sources, I think we can stick to once a week. I don't think it'll be too much. It's not like, it'll be in addition to, but also compensated by the video and anything else that happens, like events and meetings and stuff. So I think maybe once per week or bi-weekly, but at least, we're
Yeah.
posting, yeah, in addition to
I-
that.
And the thing is, if you're including sharing posts, that literally takes 2 seconds to go on um, if we have certain sites that we like follow, certain government or organizations that we follow that put out good information or educational stuff regarding biking and walking, it's not going to take long for you to share that, and I can also help with it, as well.
Yeah, I mean your
But if
main
you
goal
want
is
to, yeah, if you're comfortable making it bi-weekly and then we can overachieve the goal, then that's fine as well. If you want to make it bi-weekly, Emily, it's totally up to you.
Let's start with biweekly, and then I can see us, gaining traction that way. And then to your point too, like if there is other stuff, like I know the city posts stuff sometimes and we try and reshare, but at least biweekly having something that's organically bike walk, I think that's a little more doable. And then yeah, we'll hope to surpass that goal.
so Emily, are you saying that you want to share some original content every 2 weeks? Or do you want to count reshares?
I want to count reshares.
Okay, so either reshared or original content once every 2 weeks.
Yes, specific to educational material.
Okay, then I think I've written exactly that here. Cool. Manny, are you still good to own this one, post one video every quarter?
Yep.
Great. And then Emily, you're still on board with, from a few minutes ago, sending out an email newsletter every quarter?
Yes.
Cool. Backing up just a little bit, is there anybody who wants to volunteer right now to own this Safe Routes to School goal, or should we nail that down when we write the goal next week? I mean, Manny, I had you in mind for this.
Yeah, put me down.
Okay. Great. Bike valet. Provide bike valet services at 3 events in 2024. I still think this is very reasonable. And Nick Pappas has been the one owning it. So I'm comfortable putting his name down and moving on with this. Any objections? Okay. Diversity representation. Publish everything in Spanish and Creole. I would suggest that because we have not even done Spanish regularly in the past, that committing to Spanish and Creole is aspirational, and that realistically, I think we should start with Spanish. It also represents a much larger fraction of the population than Creole speakers. Now, obviously, it would be, it's a good goal, but we have lots of competing priorities, and I'm not sure that trying to do both is the best use of our time, but I'm happy to entertain other opinions.
Do we have a source or someone on our team that can speak Haitian Creole?
Not that I know of, but I could be wrong. I mean, the city employs translators when they have like public input meetings, but I think that they're like contracted from a third-party company. Like, I don't think we have an in-house Creole translator. Maybe we have an in-house speaker. But we definitely have Spanish speakers on the commission. We have multiple.
Right. Well, so that's where I would agree that, let's start with Spanish. And if we can stick to that, I definitely would want to add Haitian Creole eventually. But if we can just start with getting Spanish translations on all of our materials and the social posts and emails, and even the videos, like having subtitles in Spanish would be really good. And then expanding it from there. I think that's a more realistic, smart goal for 2024.
Okay, Christine, I think you're the one who suggested Creole. Do you want to add anything?
No, I agree. Take it off. Let's not bite off more than we can chew.
Cool. I think the next thing we should do is we should define everything. Do we mean all social media posts? Do we mean our agendas? Do we mean our meeting notes? I think social media is a good place to start, but are there other things that should be included or would especially be feasible to include? I don't know if there's precedent.
Yeah, honestly, I think was thinking educational materials. I think that would be a lot to do. Social, maybe the agenda on the website. I don't know. I mean, but definitely the education materials.
I think that. Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to quickly add, I know Jalea's provided us with both like English and Spanish walking maps. So we do have some educational material in Spanish, and some of the other, flyers that we have the virtual copies of, we can continue doing that. But I also agree, I think we should start posting on social and in both formats too. I think the city does that pretty well, and it would be good to do that for, our team as well.
So we could say all educational materials and social media posts.
Yeah.
I don't know if Instagram has this, but I know sometimes you can, things get translated for you if you post them in a different language, so maybe for social media, there's already the technology that, you press to translate, it translates it for you. I could be wrong.
I mean, those are automated translations, so they're not necessarily as good, but it is maybe 85% of the way.
If you create anything on Canva, it now has Magic Switch, so you can translate it into any language. And then we just typically at the health department create materials, do the Magic Switch. It creates generates a different language, and then we have somebody that speaks that language just review it and make any edits. So if you use Canva for educational materials in the future, that would be a great tool.
That's great to know, actually.
So, given that, how do you all feel about keeping this as written? Publish all educational materials and social media posts in Spanish.
Sounds good.
I like
Manny, are you interested in owning this? I know that you do speak Spanish.
Yeah, I can help with this part, with the Spanish part.
And then Emily, I guess I think I would suggest that you and Emily co-own this, because Emily's going to be taking the lead on doing the media posts. And so Emily, if you're and also the educational materials, right?
Well, I have students too that have translated in the past, so they get community service hours too.
I like that. That's a great idea.
I think I would want, if we take advantage of that, I would still want somebody on the commission who's a native Spanish speaker or a proficient Spanish speaker to review them.
Yeah, usually I have the professor teacher review that, of course, before we send anything out. But you do whatever you want.
Well, what I'm looking for here is for a member of the commission to be the owner, to be the one responsible for making sure that to be the one that we're holding accountable for accomplishing this goal.
Well,
So,
like you
Christine, do you want that
said,
to be
it's
you?
kind of hard to have, it's Emily and somebody else, right? Because Emily's
Yeah.
doing social media, so.
Would you, Christine, since you have the connection and it sounds like it's worked out for you in a way with like the accountability for it sounding right, and then it's like a symbiotic relationship. Would you want to take that?
Yeah, I've done it. The materials we have that we already have that are translated, yeah, it's because of the students at the school. So it's good to get in youth engagement.
That sounds awesome.
So I will take it on.
Okay, I'm going to assign this to Emily and Christine. Okay, co-host one event in 2024 with a group that represents an underrepresented group. I'm going to change this to population because we're using the word group two different ways here. This one I remember coming out of the brainstorming last time. I don't remember having a concrete idea of what sort of event this is going to look like. And I think that was well understood, that everybody understood that we didn't know exactly what this was going to look like, but that kind of that indicated that we had some work to do. But that's the kind of work that we want to do, is that we need to be moving in this direction, and so we need to be exploring the kinds of events that we could co-host with groups that represent an underrepresented population. Oh, somebody suggested NAACP. Christine, did you suggest them?
Yeah, there's a few places out there that I was at a fair. It was the Wilton, Norwalk YMCA, and they did something with the NAACP too. It was in one of the parking lots right before COVID, and we had bike safety table there at that event. So
Gotcha.
I could work on this.
This also reminds me, I've under the auspices of Sustainable Streets, I've been organizing a book club series for Complete Streets, and one of the partnerships that I've found, a potential partnership, is with the First Congregational Church, which is a historically predominantly Black church, and they do a social justice book club series. And we're thinking about partnering with them in April. So that's another opportunity. The commission could also, co-host this. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't do something else as well. But I think I'm coming around more to the idea that that we have ideas about how we could achieve this, and that it's thus a realistic goal. So I'm good to sign off on this. Who wants to own this? Christine, do you want to own it? I think you were the one who suggested it.
That's fine.
Cool. Okay, stay aligned on strategic plan progress. Check in once a quarter during the meeting, and check in once a year with the mayor. I think these are both good. I maybe would even add that we should be providing a report to the Common Council, because that's in our founding ordinance, just to demonstrate that. And I think that since I have been the chair, I have not done this. So yes, the commission shall provide annual reports to the Common Council to summarize the commission's work over the course of the year. So we should absolutely be doing that. And I would like to take responsibility for that. And I think it makes sense for the same person, probably me, to be in charge of all of this. All of the accountability stuff.
I agree. I mean, especially with the mayor, as the chairman, being the person that goes to the mayor and reports to him.
Okay. Everyone cool with that? I'm going to take responsibility for all three of these.
Go for it.
Okay, cool. Moving on, Fairfield County Greenway. I'm already owning this one, so I'm happy to continue owning this one. I I remember in the most recent meeting in the, I think it was on the 8th, on January 8th in our commission meeting, I asked for volunteers for people to work on this with me, and I think everybody raised their hand. I haven't compiled that group yet because I'm still kind of waiting on getting buy-in from Darien, and I have a meeting. I don't know if I've mentioned that to everybody. I got a meeting with the first selectman of Darien, and it's on Wednesday. So
Woohoo!
I think after that, I'll be putting together a working group to draft the application, and we'll need to move on that pretty quickly because we agreed to have a draft ready by the February commission meeting, which is a week from today. But I say that all to say that it would be nice if I had another owner here, a co-owner. If anybody feels particularly interested, like I want to involve everybody, but it would be nice to have one person in particular that, like, you know, if I go on vacation, can lead the thing while I'm gone.
Does anybody on the team have like a strength in grant writing and that sort of thing?
I was going to say, I don't think I'm a good candidate because I don't have that experience.
I don't know if any of us do. I don't, but I'm going for it.
I'm happy to like sub in if you need help, Tanner, but I don't know if I can like co-own it.
Well, I think that's essentially what I'm looking for in a co-owner, is somebody who can step in if I'm away.
Okay, yeah, I'm happy to help, and it's mostly because I feel like Andrea Gardner from the NRBT has also offered support, so I know I can always go to her with questions as well.
Great. Okay, sounds good. Events. Table at 5 community events. We already discussed and agreed that this is a decent goal. Does anybody want to own it? Who wants to be the event person?
Can I vote Nick Pappas even though he's not here?
You can. I'll make it tentative upon his agreement.
I feel like he's good with the events we've done in the past. He's been very responsible and has been good at managing those. And I think he has the tablecloth, so that's why I suggested it.
I have the tablecloth thing. It's sitting right here.
Oh.
There it is. But he did have it for a while. But yeah, I'm happy to sign him up for this in his absence, pending approval from him. Open Street. Right now, this is Christine and Ben. And because Ben's not a commissioner, I think I'm going to put Christine's name here. Christine, are you good to own the Open Street goal?
Sure.
Great.
What about Judd? Can we sign him up for something?
We should sign Judd up for something. I don't know. Judd's been a little bit less engaged, and when I had a conversation with him, he said that he's happy to stay on the commission, but also happy to give his spot to somebody else that we find if we find somebody who's especially more, you know, representative of the community, more diverse. But in the meantime, like until that happens, I'm happy to assign something to Judd. Nothing frankly jumps out as something that I remember Judd acting particularly interested in helping with. Any ideas
About what?
about what we get assigned to Judd?
Oh, well, after all that, maybe nothing.
Okay. The bike share I'm already running. I did reach out to Paul Chenard, who I would love to be a commissioner, but he's told me he doesn't have time. But Paul has experience as working as a regional planner and working in a bike shop. And he's agreed to help me out with this bike share thing. I just haven't moved it much. But like if he were on the commission, I would add his name, but he's not. Okay, League of American Bicyclists. We said improving on the award. Christine, do you want to co-own this with me?
I think we all should be on this one.
Well, but that kind of defeats the purpose.
Well,
Like
I
I want
guess.
one or two people to
Yeah.
be primarily accountable. I think we should all be helping, yes, but like who's going to say organize the meetings? And I think it's going to be either you or me.
Which meetings? The
Like-
meetings to meet regularly to improve upon this?
Yeah, like if we're filling out the application again,
Oh, yeah,
like
okay,
we're not going to be sharing the burden perfectly equally. Somebody's going to be leading,
yeah,
and I think that you and me make sense.
that's fine.
And then get one more league certified instructor. Emily, did you bring this up or did you bring it up, Christine?
I brought it up.
Emily, do you feel like you have a good enough understanding about how we would accomplish this that you could own it?
Yeah, I could figure it out, and I can get with Christine on it too, but I can
Okay.
be responsible if you want.
I'm gonna assign it to both of you, but you'll be first.
Okay.
Okay. I think we're in a pretty good place. I'm very relieved that the majority of things are not assigned to me. And I think that with the exception of Judd, that we have a pretty decently even distribution across at least all of the appointed commissioners. I guess we have other commissioners that serve other non-voting members. One of them, whom is Greg, who does have something assigned to him, that he's already done. So good work, Greg. And then Julia co-owns the educational material. Greg and Julia are certainly our two most active non-voting members. We also have periodically from the redevelopment agency, we have Carly Kramer who joins. But typically, I think her involvement is asking for letters of support for grants, which I have written. Like I'm trying to think if there are ways that we can plug in the non-voting members here, either in the existing goals or new goals that we have forgotten to write, but I'm not thinking of any. I mean, people like Greg and Julia and Carly, all the non-voting members have full-time jobs, so I'm not inclined to burden them with a bunch of stuff. But Greg, do you disagree? Would you like more responsibilities here?
No, we have plenty to be doing on the city end, so we want the commission to take on a lot of the goals of the strategic plan. That's why you guys are there.
Well, I hope that you see that we're doing that.
Yep. Got to hold you to it now.
I mean, that's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Julia, do you see? Would you like to take on any more ownership here besides the one thing you have, or do you feel satisfied with where we're at?
I feel satisfied where I'm at right now.
Okay. Great. Then I say we should take this to the meeting next week. I guess the one other thing I talked about doing is potentially recategorizing that, but I don't know if that's something that we need to spend everybody's time on. I guess the most obvious is events. We have, I think Bike Valley can be in the events section. There's one other one. Oh, this one. Co-host. Yeah, I'm going to split this up. I'm going to put this one in the events section. And then this one I'm going to put in the social media and education section. And then honestly, these all kind of fit in the same what? Applications? Or I don't know. Yeah, I'll figure that out. Okay, last potential area of work that we could do in this meeting is that we could add some detail here that explains how we intend to achieve these. For example, under the 5 community events, we could write out a list of events that we want to shoot for. Right? The plan part of the strategic plan. What we've written here is not really a plan. It's a list of goals, and they're good goals. And I think they're thoughtful and well written, but it's not really a plan. It's not a set of steps that we can take. It's not a blueprint for achieving our goals. It's just the goals themselves.
Wouldn't the plan come from when, after we're done with this, then the leads on each of these start kind of pushing movement, and then that's how you kind of
That's a good idea.
work on the plan. Because I mean then we're gonna be here like doing, I don't know how many, like 20 plans, I don't know, 15 to 20 plans. And maybe that's how like, that's where the conversations might happen with like the leads, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good point. What if we did this? What if we assigned homework to each person to write, just even if it's just short, like a couple of bullet points about how we think we're going to achieve this goal in 2024. And that'll look different for different ones. But for what I'm suggesting is that each of us do that for the things that we own. So like if you're Nick Pappas and you have this one, that you just go into this doc and you write out, 5 events that we want to shoot for. And then we can bring all those and report on them in the meeting on Monday next week. I think that there's value in nailing that down, like at this stage, so that going through the year we can look back and we'll have written down and voted on the approximate plan that we had. So if we get to August and we're like, how did we think we were going to do this? That we have an idea. But I also don't think that we need to do it all as a group. We can kind of farm it out. But we should at least, it should be on everybody's radar. We should all know approximately what each other is going to do to accomplish these. But we don't have to all discuss every one. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yeah.
Cool. Is everybody? I see that Manny and Emily are already in this doc, as am I. I guess the only other person is Christine. Are you willing to use this Google Doc and go in and add your contributions?
Yeah, of course. Can you mind just sharing it again with me? I'm sure I have it. It'll go in the top of my inbox. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, I should have copied that because I'm going to put it down here. Okay. Next steps. What's the date of the upcoming meeting? Can somebody check? Is it February 2nd? No, it's like
February 5th.
Yeah, 2nd's Friday. Okay. I think we're good. Does everybody else think we're good?
Yeah, this looks good.
Yes, good work.
Definitely.
Cool. I want to recognize Ben Handpeter, who's here. Ben, thanks for showing up. Also, we have, oh no, Ben is the one attendee. At this point, Ben, because you've sat through like every one of these meetings, I will give you the chance to speak if you want.
I did miss the last one, so I didn't see every single one, but
Okay,
I do
rescind your
appreciate the
permission.
opportunity. No, I got nothing else to add though.
Cool. Well, thanks everybody. I think I'll give you the rest of the time back. I think we talked about going till 8, but I don't think we need to. Thank you for all your work. Thanks for the work that you committed to do in 2024. I think that we will, even if we only do half of these, that will have a good impact on the city, and we'll show people like the mayor and other city leadership that we're serious, and we'll show the public that we're serious as well. So thank you. Greg, you want to add anything?
Nope, no, I got nothing to add. Thank you, everybody.
All right, then we'll see you all next week.
Thanks, Greg and Julia. Have a good night. Bye.
Have a good night.
And next week. Bye,
Good night,
everyone.
everybody.
Thanks, Deline, for showing up to all of these and taking notes.
You're very welcome. Have a great night.
Okay, bye.